Life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say. I need a break. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. Game face on when I chase like that. Yeah, I play so strong with a knife in the back. I'ma swing home run like a baseball bat. Gonna see me rise, you can hate on that. I don't play both sides, doing me no cap. I'ma ride or die for my dreams on tap. I'ma fly real high, you ain't see me slack. No, it's not how you fall, it's how you get right back up. That's how you get tough. Calluses on my hands so rough, yeah, I call your bluff. I'm not the one, mess with me and come out with none. Cause I'm so done, you had your fun. And now you're gonna face down the barrel of the gun. Cause I got a full clip, put your name on it. But I'ma let you slide cause you ain't worth it. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on.
With our latest Let's Read. We are doing this today. Before we get started, I do want to address sort of the elephant in the room. We did all last 3 weeks, did the Storytime review or reading of first few chapters of of Shield Hero. Book 6, which would have been what covers the beginning of season 2. What we read apparently is the stuff that they have not covered. They kind of just jumped right in past where we ended the book. So if you want to see what happened to this point, watch our videos. Honestly, and they're only about a few longs, but we went through, covered everything up to date that happens from the start of the video of the new season. My feelings are a bit mixed on it. I feel like they're rushing things a bit, but I think they're trying to cover a lot more of the book, realize. And so maybe we'll see more. Until then, we also want to promote our book, Demon Blade, Book 1, available. It is a manga / comic book for people, those who don't know. It is available on Amazon.com right now. You can get it for digital for $9.99, or you can get it for print, $14.99. Available on, again, Amazon.com. It is chapters 1 through 6. So that is 6 total issues in one book. So it is about what you would get for a typical manga size at the same price. I hope you all enjoy it. Until then, we are going to be getting back to our 11 Kingdoms story this week. We're going to read that this week. Next week, we might do something different, and we'll things. But we're going to do a double dose today. So I welcome all to join in, listen, and catch into it. Brief catch up to where we were. The events had just occurred. That Jamie was our main hero, Jamie Eve, aka Fawn Midden, has been attacked, and her soul or identity, her intelligence, what you want to call it, is separated from her body, and it is now vested into this RPG, 11 Kingdoms, and her body is barely surviving, barely badly damaged in the hospital. So we're going to be getting into it right away with Trapped in a False World, or Trapped in a False World. Accessing personal logs, Princess Von Midden. File source, cameras, Onyx T, 47 meters. Still don't buy it, Rick. No way the game is Jamie. Moses stands for more stressed out than visibly more so than the others in the hate to agree, but how do we know that is Jamie? I mean, it's great to see some part of her, all up and active, but the real Jamie's in hospital. I just spent 4 hours in her room with her mother, trying to get her to keep Jamie alive. Melissa rubbed her live face in her hands, trying to force her eyes open. She has memories of Jamie's past. True memories, Rick groans, tapping the pen on the table. Doesn't identify as herself as Jamie. Thinks and acts as if it's part of her life as Fawn. Moses grumbles and follows by placing his on the table. Think you're tired like the rest of us, Rick. Want a rogue program to beat Jamie. I understand if you blame yourself for what happened. Not making this up. Can't tell a program that some oranges are sweet and some are sour. For them to predict which ones without a real sense of taste. What are you talking about? Asked Melissa, looking very much unshaken. I left her. She ate an orange programmed in her room. Any normal programmer would program the way program for the program to act. Choose to make oranges sweet or sour. It wouldn't bother with minute details. A certain orange is computer control. It would be mundane waste of memory and time. He sighs as he grabs a cup of coffee in front of him and takes a large sip. On top of that, peak acting to memories when words are brought up. Yeah, well, kind of remembered what a computer program. No, NPC controlled by the computer should identify its existence as a player in the game. Made that way to maintain the element of disbelief in the game. Moses says, yeah, do about it. Gavin says, making an effort to reach the third slice of pizza. Only person eats. Exactly. She's self-aware program that knows things well beyond what a normal program does. She has memories of simple yet complex things described in the world that you wouldn't put in a program, mundane and pointless. Its memories and actions show intelligence, well beyond any he or any other staff member spend time in programming. Doesn't show signs of corruption involved with programs that we are aware of that are infected by the plague virus. I think it's the residue of Amy. When she was attacked in the game, Fawn was killed, and Jamie suffered the damage. Pulled Jamie's body from the chair, but her mind was still attached to the. What's the game did what it programmed to do? Bring the character back from her death. It spent time rebuilding her with the memories and actions of Jamie. But it took time to take all the data and rebuild it. The computer would see her as Fawn Midden, thus building her. Such memories would be placed together as if she was always Fawn. Melissa grunts. Very interesting theory you have, Rick. How can you be so sure that this is the case? Rick finishes off his coffee while looking at my aunt. But I have a way to test it. All we need to do is get someone who would want to come here, not to help. Don't mean. Jar's awake. They're thinking. What do you mean? Gavin pauses from place to look. He needs to bring Jamie's mom here to have her see if the memories of Fawn match the memories of Jamie. Alyssa sighs, placing her head in her hands, pulling her hair back. The woman won't like it. I don't think she'll take it well. So if you're going to do it, then you need to prepare her for it. Well, luck will have it. He's coming back here in a bit. Ugly knows he's on the winning side of the argument. Went ahead and set this up without us? I can't believe you. Alyssa's interrupted by Moses adding his knowledge to the argument. Coming together stuff. Amy, the hospital. Make it feel like home. Also to do some good idea to approach her about it then. Not even head of office about the program. Want to keep it a secret from the world. Done before launches to Moses. To worry that those looking in the matter don't find Fawn. Gavin states as he reports like, I have that covered on my end entirely. Ready, states Rick. I've talked with the guy looking into finding the hacker. He was the one that passed on the info, so I'm sure I can keep quiet on both the public and the company. Wait, why should we keep quiet? I mean, Jamie's in the game. Is that a bad thing to let them know she's there? Melissa rumbles. Their question is looking down at the empty cup used to house coffee. In the game, and the governments of the world would want to remove her to her study. Likely never be or heard from again. No. For now, I think it's best the solution is to claim she is a false programmed and we need to treat her as Fawn in the game. Her to secure locations to try and bring back her memories to being Amy. Meanwhile, we need to work on a way to try and restore her body. Shows a sense of worry about his face. That's a chance. Gavin drops his piece out of his mouth, open wide. Would we make a backup of her info? Moses questions, looking as a clue to the answer. Tell their expressions, difficult task. Worth a try, after all. Precious, though. But it'd be hard as the main office monitors all backups made her own words to task to know she know are true. Back up the whole castle then. The private source made a copy, stored it on the floor somewhere. That way the monitors won't look like a routine action on our part. Worth a shot. Moses. And Gavin can't work on handling that task. I'll work on getting Bart on approving it. Lessa, talk to Miss Eve. Tell her what we have, something. Or her, just name. What about Jamie or Fawn? Whatever. Someone checking on her? Looks about the room. Go green in a few hours, Gavin warns. Okay. Moses, once you're done with the backup, go in and handle the game passives. Jamie, once you get her mom, give or take. I will join you, Alyssa, in the game. Talk with Vaughn. As I said, we need used to addressing her as such. Both acknowledges the name, best to keep the false image for being not the real player. While I work on a disguise program to hide her. Okay. Know we're all tired from the days of lost sleep. We need to do this for Jamie. Let's move. Rick reassures his group gets up and separates to tackle each task separately. When Rick turns to head, wife moves in, standing from the door, blocking him further. Rick, we need to talk. Look, Aaron, I have a lot on my hands right now. And this weight tries to move past, but Karen Mathers steps in his way. No, always busy. paying more attention to Jamie, your daughter. I asked for us to move in here close. But in the last 4 days, you didn't once see your real daughter. Frustration, Karen Mathers, shows as tears begin to rise. Honey, friend's life. Don't give me that. You're not a doctor. You don't have the power to help her. Karen shouts. They have found a way. Give me 2 days. Then we head out for the day. Three of us. Tries to reassure his wife. Leaving the tower and heading back home. Lily is coming with me. Don't return in 2 days. Don't even so much as call your daughter to speak with her. Then God help us. Help me. I will pack our home and Lily needs a father. Now you're acting like you can exist as part of her life. Karen wipes her tears. Very well. Be in a few. Need to make a call to speak to someone. I'll go and help you both pack your up, turn home, okay? Karen sniffs and nods her head. Wipe her eyes. While Rick leaves this on file source in. Accessing file. Princess Von Midden log files. The touch of silk sheet brushes the. I struggle to find a cool spot on the bed. No matter how I look at it, the day fully on. And the hours that pass since my father told me to finding me things finding me filled with complete and utter boredom. Despite my long journey here on an empty stomach, I have since feasted after spent hours sleeping now, and I feel trapped for. I only have been here for a few hours, but somehow can't shake the feeling of sudden similarly being stuck this for a long time. Peering out on the courtyard below, I watch as the town move about. I almost see a pattern in their actions, some repeating their actions time and time again. I watch a man circle the court forth, back and forth. A woman selling things from her basket, turning to one person, talking to and turning to another, doing the same, then repeat the process she did with the person she just started talking with. The only thing showing me the world hasn't joined me my insanity of watching a people about sense of chaotic order. Great is, however, strange hypnotic pattern, causing sleep to try and sneak up on me. Let out a yawn, cover my mouth. The door of my chambers opens. Captain Gott enters. The strange woman died. Princess, brought you someone here to see you. Tell me, you remember this woman? And puzzled, looking over the face of the. Don't recall meeting her. Is she? I asked, puzzled. Why the captain of the castle guard would enter and ask such a question. My quizzical nature seemed. This is some kind of trick game for you all. You want me to suffer more? Looking at a computer program version of her in the game? The woman seems to be never thought I would see. She was putting the captain of the guard form of fear. Again, I worked through the words of the computer program. Second time in the last day I heard them mentioning by those around me. Now it somehow was related to this for me. A strange, different life I've lived. Trying to see Amy or not. I know it's hard, but ask her questions on Amy. Feel her mind may have been scrambled a bit. Captain whines a bit. Whines. This is insane. The woman, the captain have long staring match at the end of the wall. Very well. I'll ask her a few questions. The woman turns and looks. long stare. Tell me, do you remember the beach? Yeah, I try to recall and then point out the window to the nearby beach at the horizon of the. Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, there often, now and then. That didn't grumbles. Need a harder question, like one about our family. Captain stands with a look at her, trying to comfort the letting out a sigh of frustration. The tries again. What do you think of your mother? And puzzled. Um, died years ago. Yeah, that's how she would. All right. Thanks for the horrible memories. Leave me alone, Melissa. You and all just stay away from Jamie. I think it'd be better for all of us that way. Turns, starts to walk out the door. Something hits me. Starts to speak up, halting the steps. Never saw eye to eye with her. Too much like my grandmother for turns after I mentioned grandmother. Grandmother. Tell me, child. Tell me about her. Turns from the door. It was dark skinned, but it wasn't from birth. I like to go to the beach a lot. Mom and her didn't agree on one thing. All she wanted to do was enjoy life and play about. Mom wanted to make a living. Ran a store, as I recall. Right? Captain asked the woman. You remember your grandmother's funeral? Woman moves in closer, stares at me down. How did you feel about it? Scared. Many people were upset and sad at all funerals. For some reason, I was joyful, laughing. Wasn't alone in that. Someone else was laughing too. I watched his pale face. Who? Who laughed with you and why? Now my head began to pound. Moved to grab the goblet of water. My head hurts. You leave. Ask neither, but neither of them stopped and turned away. No, Your Highness. Answer her question. No matter how painful it gets, please answer her. Watches the stern face of the captain shift gears for it was. I look at the woman, felt a tingle running across my dead then, wasn't she? Look at the filled the eyes of you, my mother, who at the same time. I'm what's happening to me? Woman grabs a hold of me, and I look closer at her face. The woman I know as my mother. Wrong with me? I cry out. Jamie, you are in there, aren't you? The woman grasps my face closely. I'm not gone from me yet. You're right here. My head continues to pound as memories of the past begin to flood my head. The pain is so intense I fall to my knees, grasping at my head. The sound of the drum beat pounding its way through my skull. The woman maintains her grip on me, turns to the captain. There's something you people can do for her. Territory for anyone, Miss. We could try to program magic to heal her, but don't know if any good problem or not. Besides, I don't know any restoration magic. Captain seems to look about the room, find a solution, but her disappointed face shows. Find someone who does. My child is in pain. Don't know if it'll help or not, but if it's worth a try, then do it. One glares at the captain, who I don't recall ever seeing jump to. given even by father, act so quickly. Hang in there, baby. I won't leave you this time. We'll find a way to get back to normal. My eyes blur from building a combination of pain, memories I thought lost. Um, why is this happening? Why am I like this? Don't know, Jimmy. Somehow your mind and your body have separated, but we will find a way to get you back. Words shock me. My mind and body are separate. How can that be? Body is here. This world is so real. Happen. Who am I? Sit there together, slow from both of us trying to comfort one another. Several minutes. Eventually, the captain returns with Nev at her side. Nev, Fawn is in pain. Mom stops the captain, shouting at them. Jamie, not Fawn. It's Jamie. I don't care what she looks like. She's my daughter. I want you to treat her like that. Sternly states Ebony. If I'm sorry, but for her safety, outside sources, we agreed to address her as Fawn while she's like this. Eb moves. Light envelops his hand. A warm glow fills around me as the pain lessens. I can't tell if it's Nev's magic or if it's the memory having stopped filling my head for the first time. I begin to feel. I looked at the faces before me. I tried to remember. I focused first on the face of the man closest to me. Have my memory tells me much of this character is similar to how he looks like in the towering status above signature that was always there. I remember his skin, however, was darker. Came from a grand city. North name, however, escapes my memory. Hard to see past the giant in both memories. Turn to look at the mysterious woman. Now feel close to my heart as Mom. Look at her face. Much of it is faded memory. She looks very close to for me. Me, much younger look. Gone are the bags under her eyes from the long hours of work and frustration. I had placed over hair was also properly styled in a way I don't recall it being. The rest of the day runs course along with the constant running of her hands through her hair, pulling the tangles along the way. I remember telling her once she would go bald doing that. She responded that she was going that way due to the stress I gave. A hit of regret hits me. Caused so much trouble in her past. Continue to cause so much sorrow and stress even now. Somehow my situation is taking this perfect fit for her. Or she started to show signs of age. I looked onto her eyes. Spark of memory hit, showing the ebony battle staff. Harry, my head. Ebony. I speak out with eyes and watch the eyes of the bride. Your name is Ebony, but Grandma calls you Ebby. Smile hits her, tears in her eyes fall. Right. Smile speaks miles. My fading. Hate it too. Speak out and turn. Look at the captain, the guard. Dark skin and hair confused. At first, I recall a woman smaller in size than myself, while her hair was more golden brown. Skin was much more paler than it's now. Looking closely at her eyes, the memory of the sandwich hit odd. I don't recall ever having seen one before, even from the chefs downstairs or markets in town. Memory comes from Mountain Valley, small restaurant, strange carriage with no horses. Tried to go on a trip recently to the mountains. stopped to eat, then taken back to the tower in a strange carriage. Yes, Jim. Tried to go to the Shenandoah Mountains for Gertie stopped us at the diner outside the mountains. Up the names of things stirring in my mouth. But a chicken sandwich. It ended up on my clothes. Close friends, aren't we? Strange comment on her as my memories begin to fade in. Truly, I don't recall many interactions that I had with the captain of the guard, much as my memories are informed. Who name is Melissa? Both worlds. Watches the captain nods and your last name is different. Father asked you to start to think of the faces not here that I know well of. Gavin, father. Gavin is a fat, odd guy. He has breathing problems. Call him Gavin in both worlds, but it's not his real name. Father. Words I find are the hardest. Father is not my father, after all. Watches the faces shrink. Mother grasps my arm, pulls me. No, real father is on his way from his business trip, trying to get here on the first flight out. Very puzzled, not understanding how man could fly in a world that began, as I recall, did not have magic. No, King is not my real father, but he does watch over me, protect me in the way a father would. The Nev, not in the wife, daughter, name named after a flower. His name is Rick, isn't it? I ask with a get it rather quickly. Uh, right. Yep. Yeah, that's him. Sorry you couldn't join us right now, Fawn. He has a business deal. Couldn't return. Said he would check in on you. And wanted us to look in on you and let you move about the town freely, but asked you not to leave the city. States in sorrow-filled, yet stern voice. Don't understand. All found her. Why not hook her up and get her out? Mom's voice cracks as she tries to add force. As far as we know, the brain doesn't work like that, Missy. Somehow the accident took her mind from her body. We have no clue on how to put it back. Nev explains, but it appears the giant man is still trying to stay small, unnoticed by the stern gaze of the world. They also fear the person behind this, Jamie, is in the hospital. They knew she was here. They could work a simply to delete her from the game, thus killing her for good. Adds he looks to me for Nev's cowardice. Do you plan to keep my daughter locked in a fictional the rest of time? Mom moves hair down Melissa, adding a little height to her stature, able to stand at the point up on her. No, just need to find out who's behind this mess. Then we can work with get her out in some way. Until then, she isn't safe wandering the world, claims, trying to get her higher than her mother, her stature, to reverse her view. On. Know it's important. You're out in private areas. Try and act like you don't know of. Rick plans to state you're just a computer controlled character. So no one is suspicious of your other self being in the hospital, not in the for your safety. Ev shares edge of place of father's absence. I nod and agree, partially I slowly starting to recall. This is a false world. Still holds many threats and dangers. or so that I can't shake the feeling pioneer on the foothold, never before fronted on either world. I had traveled to a new world by leaving my body and life, not just a new world, but new life. My memories gathered together more and more, drown out the people around me. I had to find some hard to separate. Many of the memories I have of the other great heroes, I only recall each by how they seemed in this. I also recall the man wrapped in gold, very important to all the kings. I cannot recall as to why, yet God. Part of me screams in my head that he's the world's creator, this world's God, but I can't shrug off the instinct I have that I've met him before, that he's somehow no more powerful than myself. No, my other self met him. Can't recall. Could I cast magic before? I remember I had some kind of power crafting images and bringing them to life. Watch as the maid walks and face strikes thoughts in my head. I created her. Not in the way her mother gives birth to a child. By no means was that the case. The maid was far older than I. No, I crafted her much the way a sculptor craft a statue. I looked down at the food, torn piece of bread, a slab of cheese, and a collection of vegetables. All of these I've seen before in my life, yet I can't shake that they're just false image of something I've crafted. This food? If I eat this, will I truly nourish my body and fill me? Thinking about it makes my mouth water. My stomach turns in a queasy feeling. I decide to take the risk and bite into a broken piece. It carries the same texture, smell that I always recall. The near countless meals these I've had. My stomach's uneasiness settles as down my feeling of food hits my nearly empty stomach, eats my nerves. But how could this is a false world that is so well made to affect me in ways I hold this false form? Or is it my mind merely granting me smaller issues by linking thoughts to gain my sanity? I look over the group I ignore, and the faces locked on my. Did I miss something on my face? I go to wipe my face, but it watches their down bewilderment at my actions. I look at mother's face, smile, while laughter hits. Nothing, dear. Watch her for a while. I eat. She watches as I proceed my meal. Listen, Nev moved from side of the room where I can barely hear the two work and giant of a man. Got all of Fawn copy character form. No personality, just a blank. Stands there waiting for orders. Tell Rick, Captain questions. Sent an email to him, along with some messages higher ups on the scheduled maintenance for our servers. Dev states. I send that questions. Gavin and I think it might not be a good thing if Fawn is on the server during the weekend. More so now that the office is active seeking plague infected programs. Since our program isn't actually what the computer would declare normal right now. Nev stares at me. I kind of get a shiver. Not a question. No. Computer, even the higher ups will see her as a rogue program. They may take action to wipe her program. Even if the form remains, we can say her mind will program. Nev has a troubled look at his face, glances over to me again. Keep her on the move. The other kingdoms will go down. When is the next scheduled date? Let's see. Off to the side of the room for some reason. Next Wednesday. Should move her Tuesday to be on the safe side. Probably Nev replies. I'll get preparations going on then. Guess we could send her to Azurfire or Argio. Captain looked, running a plan through her. Giant continues. Argio is a better choice, while it will take a while for her to travel there. Unless she's seen the fewer issues rise, people seeing her. It's best choice to take a private ship to Azurfire, have stated. You can warp there with a mirror, can't you? Plus looks at the mirror in my room. Rick doesn't want the main office to find her yet. Best way for her is to blend in with the players and stay off the radar. That means traveling by the same means they have. Also, last warp with her didn't work, so we think she's stuck using carts, horses, boats, walking. Troubled look hit the captain. Why? We have no choice. Make sure we have a boat ready for the place. Hide her out in Azurfire, then I'll head out with her and stay safe. Tell Rick about what's going on here. I'll stay until Miss E is ready to leave. Over. Mom pulls a napkin and wipes. I got you. Don't let this down. Found her. Jamie is alive. Just need to keep her that way. Giant man, Nev, pats the captain lightly on the back, causing her to rock forward as a smaller frame. No match for the towering form. Pats a smile at Mom and me, walks out the door. I turn to look on at Melissa. Carries her. Disturbed look, but works hard on restoring a smile on her. I reach out to grab a slice of an apple. Smile back at her. File source and accessing materials. Company tech support. From Black Clover 11 Kingdom tech support. Subject maintenance scheduling. Due to recent attacks on the server, been linked that has been cited the progress of early wide maintenance scrub. Cause the servers to look for unknown files, known to infected files with the plague virus. While the actions are still underway to find those responsible for the invasion of the infection system, keep the game functioning. Kingdoms will be locked down per 24-hour period, and then move on to the next kingdom connecting to it. Players in those areas will be locked down, and their connecting systems will save information. Non-player events based on info will be saved in our system backup. This as well as our system check on central servers on Sundays. Times and servers are as follows. Monday, Argio, Emerus. Tuesday, Marin, Rurier. Wednesday, Noyox and Strone. Thursday, Perloud and Crystalline. Friday, Azurfire, Saturday, Topil, Pangaea. Please make sure to post these so that when your areas go down, the players are alert when it will happen. If you find rogue programs, please notify the system issue. We will act on it. Not interact with it. Hostile, log off, and have it. You have to. Thank you. Second email. 11 Kingdom Tech Support. Black Clover, 11 Kingdom Tech Support. Maintenance, scheduling. Change in the earlier email. We will begin the system cleaning in Noyox in 6 hours. Please let the players in the area know of their actions. Cannot be held responsible for character deletion if logged on at the time of system. Thank you. 11 Kingdom Tech Support and accessing. So that is 11 Kingdom Chapter 10. And it's, yes, the next chapter conveniently is system. Part of the reason why I wanted to do these is is because they play into each other at the same. I'm not going to be doing many of these in the future because a lot of these long chapters. This one is also kind of a pretty long one, settling in for a little longer than our usual hour time here. But we're going to continue. Systems report. Accessing personal logs on mid. Time since Nev left the room passed what seemed like a day. I only could tell by the actions of people involved, as well as the fact food on the tray is yet to receive temperature before it happened. Stood puzzled as both Mom and the captain paused at the same time, began to talk about something. Couldn't quite see, fully understand. System cleansing. Set for the server in 6 hours. We'll be back up in 24 hours. What the heck does that mean? Mom asked, puzzled. There was little I can recall about Mom, but I knew she wasn't much for an adventure outside the challenge of a normal day. Her shops brought her through. Means things just got worse. Captain Stark's skin turned several shades paler. Go on, gather a collection of and take with you, but make it light. We need to get you thrown. Suddenly puzzled at what in Captain's quest. Strown. Why there so suddenly? Look, don't know what effect this is be on you. So to play it safe, we need a cleansing area. Ship wouldn't be fast enough to get us out of the country's server. You and I need to ride for a border and fast. I can see the turn on the and still puzzled at why Strone. I asked myself, Strone was northwest country, but it was a country neutral to our kind. At least it wasn't Rurier, who was one of our enemies, far eastern. But south, far closer border is Argio, our allies and good friends. This was a question I had to ask the captain. Why not Argio, Captain? I mean, the idea of merely running the country. Too well known there. I don't have time to set up a hideaway for you. If we get you to Strone, you may have many ruins and woods to hide out in. Argio is all cities with farms and floating islands offering hiding places. The actions of the captain moved about, tossing clothes and wrapping a plate of food skillfully in one quick action, shoving it all in a backpack or tossing it. Here are most of the things you'll need. Grab your weapons and let's move quickly. Mom stood in wonderment, whirling actions of the captain. I too found myself stuck in shock, but as a target of her rushed fury, I was dragged along with. It wasn't until Mom spoke up till the captain even noticed the still in the room. So there are three of us to move this place north. Melissa nearly jumps back, and her rising resting place hidden along the skin. Yeah, Miss Eve. Sorry. But Fawn at least knows how to ride as a horse and has a horse. I don't need one. But I'm sorry, you'll only slow us down. Go and get Moses' help. You can watch her as she travels. I know you want to protect Jane, but right now I need to get her to safety. She spends no time waiting to see Mom's reaction. Instead, she grabbed my magic staff, tossed it at me, hitting me on the side as I was distracted. Grabbing the staff in the bag, I fling it on my back. Captain throws open. Turn to Mom, who looks worried. And, be okay. Captain will make sure of that. Turns and hugs me. Strange feeling all my memory. I feel comfort, concern as well for me in the mere instant of our embrace. I want you to return to our world as possible. Or not to do anything too risky. Nod in her request. I turn and look at the captain. Look of urgent frustration in her face. I'll have Nev or the captain tell you how things are going for me. Get a chance. I rush out the door, go behind Melissa. Only her speed makes it hard for me to keep up with her. Constantly stops to make sure I'm still following a path. We run past many people going about their normal tasks. Strange sight indeed, like you're only ones knowing of the disaster, while people go on about carrying on about business. Make quickly movements about the halls and the castle, people greeting us in a similar way as we go by. Morning, Captain. Good morning, Your Highness. After set words, they pass with handling before dash down through the main hall and out the door. Small handful of people take notice. Hey, it's the princess. She's returned. Shouts one of the strange people. Alive! Princess, what are you doing? Shouts a second. Ignore them. Come on, we must move now. Snaps the captain, who's already outside the castle's doors. Sure, I had to move far quicker pace to catch up, making my way to the door. Suddenly, I'm halted as the arm reach out and grab my hand. So glad you're alive. Everyone's so worried, Princess. I turn to look at a young girl in ragged garb, coated in blood and mud. Should go to the press and hold a conference. The media is still reporting you're in the hospital. The girl goes on, and I try to pull my arm away. Let's go, I cry out. Tell four. Safe. Why are you acting this way? The girl asks. Maybe they hired someone to fill in that role. The young man replies in the outfit the girl is wearing, only fitted for a male. Freeing my hand, I run on as the two begin to follow me. Making it out the door, I suddenly come to halt where Nev and the captain stand with my horse Caramel ready. Get on and go, princess, shouts Nev, holding Caramel's rein. The captain had shifted to her wolf state, hands and holding the frustrated look, his now elongated face. Make a move to the horse, one another. People go to reach me, only to have Nev grab at them. Back off. The princess has an important task to head off to. She the princess? Cries the followers. I situate myself steadily in the saddle. Quickly, princess, we must move. Captain growls. Snap at the reins of Caramel and we start moving. Building a crowd. I build up a faster pace. Captain runs alongside, but we're confronting people or objects instead of avoiding them. Running under or over them. I get so distracted by our actions I fail to see a crowd building. A collection of people gather to block the city's exit. Caramel comes to a screeching halt, avoiding running over the people. The whinny of Caramel barely blocks the cries of the futilely for a way around. Alive, one man cries. I can't believe the media didn't say anything, shouts another. No way. It could be her. Even if she did get out, there's no way the company would have her play so quickly. Doubter in the group replies. Long live Princess Fawn! A struggle to find an opening in the crowd. Suddenly, one of them cries out, Hey, someone's attacking me. I look about and see Gavin wildly swinging an axe. Get going, girl! Quietly nod and ride through the opening, providing, catching up to the captain. Once outside the walls of the city, try to make up for lost time, and Caramel going to his quickest motion. Roadside becomes a blur, and I point to him on the road, the far north. Find the movements going so fast that I kept them following it side or in front of me. Start to slow down and try to find her voice out of nowhere. Keep moving, Fawn. Can't afford to slow down here. The blurs of green and brown, gray flew by, move across the blue sky and backgrounds. Roars of creatures wild are heard as we. Yet I see so of them. Ride. Ride goes on for several minutes. I lose track of my surroundings. If it wasn't for the road, surely would have fallen off the direction we had. The force of the road takes a sudden bend direction. Caramel slides slightly to tall grass. The road bent. When we returned to the path, a sudden growl is at my side. Feel sharp pain as a wild cat running along behind. It took a swipe at my scratching my sudden sting gets me to want to stop and try my leg. But I watch the captain runs up to the cat and tosses it back without so much as down for our pace. I look down and see my boot showing a line of blood. Grit my teeth, desperate, throbbing pain hitting me, bouncing of each step caramel make gallop. I try to concentrate effort to get to the goal of the border once again without seeing her talk. Captain's voice hears loud and clear in my head. That's right. Ignore the pain, Fawn. We have to keep moving. Don't make it to the border in 4 hours. That pain will be the least of our issues for you. I'll try to handle the threats that come up. Just keep making your way forward. I deal with the pain, concentrate on the path ahead for a good while, a bit amazed at how Caramel hasn't let up the pace once. My mind tells me horses tire at this like that this after so long. So I go on ignoring the pain as it throbs in my pounding of my heart, similar pounding of Caramel's hooves ride on. File source halted, accessing Onyx Tower 47, Mathers call records. Additional resources, camera network 47. Very important. Moses rubs the palm of his hands across the top of his shaved head. Gavin sits in front of the computer monitor, fixed on a screen, and Ebony E watches over his shoulder. Got to call him. Gavin's eyes don't even budge from the lack of. Just left to be with his daughter. First time in a long time for him. But we had our orders. Let him know about issues and Gavin's words are cut off as Ebony said, I don't care what you two think. I'll call your boss personally if you have to. My daughter's life is it. And if he can stop that, then I will see to it gets done. Ebony tries to reach Moses' desk, only to find the man's height far too much for her to grab the small box just out of her reach. I'll call him. Need you, Miss Eve, to calm down first. I don't know if Rick can even do a thing to protect her. Also, there's the fact that we're trying to keep too many people from finding out what's going on with Jamie and the Moses watches as Ebony there walks over to sit on a chair in the corner. The look on her face shows Moses that Ebony Eve wasn't the kind of woman who likes to sitting back, waiting on others to solve the issue, let alone when dealing with life threat her one and only daughter. After watching her, Moses began to dial the phone and press the button for it to be on speak. The phone rang several times, or the voice hushed to answer. Quick, Moses. How are things on your end? Try not to let my wife know we're talking about business. Tries to spread his words on quiet but rushed action. You have big problems. Why? Did you find out Fawn is not Jamie? Well, she is her, best we can tell. Turns out the system identified her as a potential threat to the game. Now stand 4 hours from a cleaning of the Noyox system. Damn it! Rick drops a whisper and quickly responds to the wife in the background. What are you doing? Are you talking to the staff? Promise me, Rick. No work today. Female voice of his wife breaks away. Don't understand, honey. Something very important is going on. Voice fades. Yeah, I don't understand, honey. Something very important is going on. Fades from that night. Yeah, you're ignoring your daughter's life. The life of the game's strangers. Voice of his wife grows louder, but remains faded. Can't discuss this here, honey. But it's Jamie. Still alive. Yeah, in a hospital bed. No, the game somehow. Guys found her. Now her life is at risk. Rick tries to explain. Look, life as a father is at risk here, Rick. I'll give you 15 minutes to settle this. But if you leave your daughter today, don't dare come back. Moses and Gavin look at each other. Neither take the notice of Ebony, who made her way to the box. Reaches to grab Moses' yanks the box from his. You look here. Play games all you want. I don't care about my daughter's life. Merely missing a day with her daddy. That's Ebony, who's speaking sobs. I told you how many times I sacrificed times with her. The days at the beaches, school plays never attended, birthdays nearly forgotten. And how know this? Days are one lost are one thing, but a life lost is another. My daughter is, or whoever she is in the game, running for her life as your computers are out to kill her. Just want a day like you two are having. I would love for those days, even when the two of us argued. I almost lost her 2 days ago. And moments ago, I was given hope, and I won. I don't want hope to die so soon. Don't want her to die. Quiet words as her sobbing causes her to hyperventilate. I want her to live on. Ask is quiet as Moses sets it down, pulls forth a chair nearby, helps Ebony. So, bring you dinner later. Faded voice of Rick's wife is. After it is done, I'll set up a vacation for all of us. Voice fades back in. On my way back, guys. Need you to go to floor 48 and acquire some help with Bart Hauser. Get him if he wants help or not. Dan Moses, Rick firmly states. Want me to kidnap him? Moses nods his head with a puzzled smile. Comes down to it, yeah. But try telling him I'm on my way to see him. After our last meeting, he's likely will not be glad to help you. Meanwhile, I need you all to keep a close eye on Fawn. Is she alone? Rick asks a question. No, Alyssa's with her. They're on the road to Strone, but it'll be close. We should reach the border in about 2 hours and 45 minutes, replies hastily. It's going to be a close, but it's possible she can make it so long as no issues arise on the road. Gavin, watch the monitors along with Miss Moses. You deal with Bart. You need to, Gavin. Send advantages to you the game for protection. Rick orders and stands strong. Help him eat worry of it. Yes, sir, Gavin says, watching the monitor, which the static line running down. God. Sound of faded door opens. Man's voice. Faded to the sense of break, but it's interrupted by Rick. Handle it, guys. Driver, to Blackout Clover's Onyx Tower. Make sure to run the lights. Das clicks and manner, dead silent. All action as Moses walks out to make his way to the elevator door. Gavin, in the meantime, hands a paper towel roll to Ebony, who, without taking his eyes off the monitor, Ebony rips off a chunk of the brown paper, blows. Who watches Fawn and her escort ride swift. But when suddenly a strange symbol appears across one of the monsters on the path, Gavin knows all too well who in the game are having it. What is that? What does that symbol mean? Question. Attack in progress. The plague virus. After her again. Gavin weeps. End source material. Zoom file. Constant beat of the hooves of Caramel thumps in. The sharp pain in my leg begins. I look back at the captain in the trail. She see her black fur snout coated red with blood. Must have been attacking monsters on the road. made an effort to protect me as best she could. I began to turn back to face the front. Caramel reels back in a moment of shock, slide back, falling off the mount. By the moment I tried to make sense of what happened, find the captain standing. Caramel was standing a few feet ago. My loyal horse, however, now nowhere to be seen. All I could make out was a fallen tree that had found a faint green light fading on it. Get back, princess! Possessed by the plague virus. Shouts. I was confused. All I saw was a trunk fallen about on the road. Trees. I look around about me, but I couldn't. Then my eyes tried to make sense of something. Couldn't quite tell what it was, but a large mound of earth, complete with rocks, moved. No, trees didn't just. They were like they were swaying in the wind. The earth moved. I watched as the captain charged at the mound that I thought I saw, watching the dark hole blink to note that it wasn't the earth. The giant mound of earth was a living creature, bathed in a fading light. Upon my realization, I take a step back, taking the advice of the captain, who was all of the top military, after all, the top military officer of the Knox, vastly more skilled at fighting than head throbs, and I sharp pain in my leg, causing me to slip to not notice the damage my leg took earlier. Monster's claws must have been coated in poison. I found it hard to stand, but the pain in my head grew bigger. I watched the captain fighting the mound as best she could. However, the mound, by far, seemed too powerful for her to face. My head was throbbing, and I couldn't recall the reason. Like back in my room when my memories, I was trying to remember something, focused on the painful throb, tried to zone out the world around me, when images began to flood my head. Images of creatures from before that I fought. Giant boar, strange plant creature, lastly, most haunting, a ghostly green woman. The pain hit me, tearing at my head. My head felt like it was splitting as the image of the woman hit my brain. Dark. The words somehow found their way out of my lips, out and out. She was the reason I was here, the one that took me from one world to the next. And this creature, this monster, is one of hers. I know well that Melissa can't defeat it alone. I must help her. I reach deep in my soul, grasping a mage staff, letting the words rise. Aqua Lamina Rapture. Did not need to think of the words as they came up from unconscious of mine. Round around the mound began to erupt in blasts of water, slicing its way through the places along its body. Monster's head is driven up as the water blades slice away. The captain continues to strike at it. Without taking her eyes off the creature, the captain hollers back at me. Told you to get back, Fawn. Can't fight it alone. Can't fight it alone. Monster's too difficult. Besides, so far I'm the only one of us who would take on one of these. I shout back at her. Swear I saw a smile in her as she tears at the chunk of the monster's body. Tosses a chunk of dirt to the side. She lets out a sharp snarl at the monster. I strike her with a claw. When the creature wipes her off, and the captain comes sliding near my side, I look down to see she's still breathing, though her breath has struggled. Stay back, princess, shouts. No, I will deal with it. I won't let it get either of us. Then we can move on. Shout back at her. I raised my staff high, cast a spell on my hand that began to release an icy white haze from Soon the monster goes to swing one of its massive arms down at us. I act quickly to block it, watching as the dirt start to crack from the icy chill of my touch. I feel the dirt becomes fragile as the creature begins to rise its arm, taking a second attempt to smash us. I watch as chunks of its arm break apart. It was a mere simple action of moving its arm about. On has a stronger ice spell on it, the captain cries as she rises her. Quickly place my hands together with the staff. In the middle of the cold, white smoke builds about my staff. The beast takes a swing at me. Too soon. Spell's not ready yet. I'm forced to take a blow of the beast. Hear the snapping of my arm as the full force of the blow hits my side. Sharp pain runs through my body. Clench my teeth and hold steady, building spell. The creature begins to follow through its attack, swings its full force down upon me. Only this time, I ready, and I jab him with my staff, unleashing the spell. The creature's body begins to make a cracking sound. Movement begins to slow. Crystals of ice begin to cover the earthly flesh, and I look as it comes to a halt in it. Suddenly, a black figure blasts at my side, causing goes crashing through a beast's body. I watch as the captain is broken, stands up upon the back, and having plowed a hole through the monster's chest, body begins to crackle again, break apart. Captain returns to her human, plops down on the ground as the dirt crumbles apart, revealing a small collection of items likely got stuck within the body. Going to have to move on your own, Fawn. Can't keep up with this. Gavin tells me he's put stuff in the pile. Might find helpful to get the hazard fire. When you get there, we will come join you. Till then, do what you must to survive. States, pointing in the direction I need to go. I look at the pile of items. Captain points out a strange looking. Never knew I was never good at using the sword, but it does make a better weapon than staff. Necklace that bears wings, small pin with a lizard encrusted on it. Finally, a cloak with several colors, no real pattern. I begin to stuff the items away. The necklace. Use it now. It will make up for the loss of caramel at this time. With it, you can move quickly across the road. Once you make it to Strone, though, the cloak and the pin, they will keep you along the path so you can reach the boat. Azure fire. You will be a watching for now. I nod and place the necklace over my head. Put away my staff in the strap I have on my bag. It takes little time until the effects of the necklace become so weird. Soon I feel like I was moving about in front of myself without even felt pull going down both ways of the path. I turned and faced the direction he had fallen before I had taken the step in that direction. Suddenly the landscape turns to a blur, and I don't even feel my feet. I run along with pace. Feels even faster than I did on caramel. Sudden bend in the road doesn't even faze me. Make it the turn perfectly. I tried to look behind me and see a blur to turn to a black void. The void begins to clear my fear, brings a cold fear about me. But I continue to run, trying to focus on the goal of reaching the water. Turn back to face the road ahead, and a sign zoomed by telling me the distance between the water left to go. I went by it too fast to see any set number. But I start to wish the movement I have send me faster as the darkness of the void follows. Before long, the darkness begins to build closer, closer to my back. While I'm moving quite fast, the void seems faster. The blurred images of my side begin to fade in the darkness, and tears build in my eyes as the darkness is approaching. Here, the end of my journey. Life hit. I think back to the memories I have of the world, hazy memories of the world I was told I am from. Close my eyes and take a deep breath, praying for my life to go on. My prayer find the I go crashing to the ground. Suddenly, I'm reminded of pain in both my leg, now my arm, as the blur halts. Looking back at the road, and in darkness, see two soldiers standing at attention. We are sorry for the inconvenience. The road to Noyox is closed for one day. Please bear with us. It will reopen again tomorrow, the guard replies. I made it. Didn't recall the moment I crossed, but somehow I made it to the other country. Now I needed to move on. I got to stand on my leg, only to drop back down. The necklace somehow helped me. Go to reach for it, find it's no found my neck. Gone somehow. Must have dropped it. Looking around to find where it was. It must have fallen in the crash. Find nothing. Gone. Something like that would surely have helped me. Somehow it's gone now. My head begins to throb along with my arm, my leg. Reaching my bag, I pull out a small potion of heat I placed some time ago. Quickly, I drink it down, watching the leg and arm slightly heal. My head continues to throb. Suddenly, something tells me, look at the bottle of the potion in my hand. I watch as it begins to fade from my hand out of existence. My memories are telling me something. The necklace must have also faded after it was used in the same way. Had a single use. It was programmed that program. I'm in a program within a computer. This is not my world. I am not fun. Tears down my face as I come to recall things. I am Jamie E. I need to return to my world, my true home. For now, face this world as fun. I must survive. Reach in my bag and dig through the items, taking a quick bite of bread and cheese. I look through the possessions. A few pieces of food, mainly bread and cheese, apples. Cloak that I lay stretched out, put on after I leave, move in my journey. Sword of which bearing the color of green and red coloring. That the blade tells me that there's something special about it. My ebony staff enhances my magical cast spells through it. Magical map of the world that shows me several miles around me, as well as a help guide my destination. Finally, I dig through the gold and clothing to find the strange. Think back to the symbolism towards that purpose. Gave me a pen to help me hunt years of disguises me false image of. I begin to stash the items away. I need to make my way to the nearby city, gain more supplies before heading out the coast, and then turn to Azure Fire. Grab the cloak and wrap it around my body. Suddenly, I blend in with the environment around me. Cloak of shadows, heaven sent cloak. Go mostly unnoticed. Now I wish I had this thing early in the part of the trip. I may not have had to use my only healing potion. Swinging the bag across my shoulder, start to walk along the path, waiting to see where the road leads next. File source, accessing video evidence, 447, Onyx Tower conference. Bart Hauser walks into the conference room, carrying a laptop, cowered in the shadow of Moses, pushing him. He's coated in sweat, yet about the floor of the. Stop the cleanse at once now, Bart. Rick slams his fist down at Bart's side. Get the man to jump in it. Not your call, Rick. You're the out of order sending your goons after me to force what you want. Bart's words infuriated Rick, who punched the wall in response with a rattling This is not a joke, Bart. End it now. Rick responds with, we have discovered a clue about Jamie's problem. Don't want it removed by your stupid actions. Corporate orders, Rick. I need to clean the server to remove any trace of the plague virus from the. Like I said, it's not your call. Or perhaps you forget who you're talking to. I am your boss, Rick. Like it or not, it's my call. Moses grabs the laptop from Bart, slams it on the table, ripping it open. Keep it up, Mr. Dello. Sure, the police will love to add assault on your current record of kidnapping me from my office. Door slams open and a handful of guards seem to hide similar framed figure or the smaller framed figure behind them. Gave you permission to investigate, Mr. Mathers, not harass our employees, not to use further your attacks on Mr. Hauser. I better have a good reason for yours and Mr. Dello's actions before I have both of you arrested. He's alive. Rick grits his teeth. Points crackling could almost be heard. Found Jamie alive in the game. We investigated it all day and had her mother come in and prove it as Jamie. Rick pauses. Vaughn is still active in the game with Jamie's memories. She's alive, but only as long as the computer doesn't kill her with the system cleansing. Lost it. Seriously, what the hell are you talking about? Not possible for a human being to be sucked into a computer simulation. Insane. Bart turns to look at Gail. Seems to maintain a stern look about her. Human brain can't be downloaded and saved. What are you talking about? This is pure fiction. Nothing like this could happen. All science starts as fiction, Bart. I'm just takes finding the right spark, the right atom, the right circumstances. Fiction becomes fact. A few years ago, we used pens and paper to draw images. Now we can link up our minds and move digital lines and shapes to form objects that are on purely electronic plane. This company has proven this and built an entire empire, turning science fiction into science fact. Rick claims as security officers surround him, only to stop as Gale gestures them to halt. Quite true your words are, Mr. Mathers. Bart, do as he asks, so we can figure out what's going on, Gale states with some curiosity. No, Bart answers shocks Gale. Now who is disobeying? Gale states, turning her gaze. I'm not disobeying. I don't believe what he says. But even still, the action is already beyond my point. I can't stop it. Things are already in motion. Cleaning of Noyox is out of my hands now. Bart shows a bit of smug look on his face. Words. Smug smile doesn't go no at Bart, who only can be held back by the security officers. They move just as quickly, grabbing Rick, restraining his movements. The program, Rick. Probably created to fool you into letting the virus stay and bring on harm to others. It needs to be destroyed. Cleaning will wipe it clean. Struggling to two hefty security guards bear down on him, and in his already exhausted form. Rick reaches out at Bart the way he can. You're willing to kill someone to prove your point. Why am I not surprised the same person that walks in on the back of his team to get promotions like willing to let Jamie die? The person behind the virus is the one who killed Missy. Want to blame me because they're powerless in this situation? Mark is snarky with a sense of confidence about himself. Shut it, both of you. Gale reaches a tone never heard by any of the people. Mr. Mathers, calm down. I will deal with you in a minute. As for you, Mr. Hauser, can't hold the system wipe. Is there a way to protect the program that they identify as Miss E? And I will check with Central. So if I get a different answer from them than the one they give, well, be prepared to spend the next several months looking for cardboard boxes and dumpsters for shelter, because I'll see to it don't work again anywhere. Well, the look is dropped from Bart's face. He looks at the screen in front of him. It wouldn't be possible to find that fragment of program to identify part of the game, thus it will be protected by a system. Would be possible. Protected from, but art is all. And do it. I can't do it without knowing the file in some way. Even then, cleaning may still remove the ghost memories and versions of Fawn that it has. Not to mention, should it die in the game, the memory could be also lost. Try to recover the computer files only. There's something blocking you from hearing me. I said do it, Mr. Hauser. Gail leans in closer, causing a nervous look on how come play on Bart's face. Gail then looks to Rick. You all know the code. Show him. Moses leans down and places a small drive beside the computer. Try to copy it. Original, that is, still active in the game, will match the code of this copy on here. Bart moves the plug in on the drive onto the laptop. Begins to type away. The computer responds in sound of beat. Bart replies, tapping the screen. There. Done. Can I leave now? Gail nods. Bart yanks the drive from the laptop, tossing it back to Mo. Rick loosens his muscles. Turn. Security guy lets him in. Did I did what you want, you asked me, Gail. Did it. But I'm still not a believer. Next poor soul to face the virus should be on Rick's head for letting the program run free of the virus will continue to move and be a threat to this and all that play. I'm not through with this, Bart says, makes his way out of the room. I will be up there to discuss matters with you later, Bart. Then you and Mr. Mathers or his team are restricted. Till then, you and Mr. Mathers are restricted to go into opposing floors, or to even make contact on the threat of immediate termination for all of you involved. Well, any legal issues that we normally look the other way with all be opened for investigation by the courts. Deal? Both Rick and Bart nod off this offer. Soon security begins to break up, and Moses leaves Gail and Rick alone. This isn't how we agreed you handle things, Mathers. The problem was immediate. Sorry. But when a life member of my team is at risk, I can't sit by and let things go away. Rick shakes his face, and I was expecting you to contact me, deal with matters and matter. Now you throw this mess in my lap that I honestly trust you, Mr. Hauser. You know why I chose to help you? Dale questioned. I have proof of what happened. States. States from his. No. I did it as a way to calm this matter down before it becomes a mess that the world will have acted on a pile of it. A deeper problem with these men than the one I already have thanks to the hacker. If it became known that the real human being had their consciousness sucked into our game, not only would it shut down the game, cost billions of jobs, more likely close the whole company down. Art is right on the fence. More lives than one is hanging in the balance here. I plan to keep all this quiet. Thus, it means I must work on meeting demands of both of you. The 'Truth' you have is utter crap, Rick. The 'Truth' you have is utter crap, Rick. 'The 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 'Truth' you Only thing you can prove is that someone knows Miss very well to create an AI that is very convincing, a piece of hope, hit of despair that you I am not cold-hearted bitch that many. It's truly Jamie in the game that let her live there. As it stands for nothing, even an R&D can bring her back, let alone that what you claim happened. We had the power. Don't you think we would have used it? Gail grabs a cigarette from her pocket. Hope is a poison, Mr. Mathers. It causes people to expect great things in life, but often desires you of all of them, denies you of all of them. But still, it does feel good to believe in something. So for now, you and your team go on with your hope, Jamie being alive, and but I don't want any of hurting the workload. You, Mr. Mathers, from now on, will work along with the team or search team I've been working on for this whole mess today out. You'll have members of the investigation team tomorrow in the investigation team, Rick asked. Can't have you play the law in your own hands. Thus, I think having the law at your side might be a good thing. You will work along with people from the FBI, Interpol, someone who worked on central servers from now on. The group will work in the nine. Next time, I want you face and face with Mathers when you tell me you found the son of a bitch hacker. Do I make myself clear? Rick nods and agrees. Very well now. You'll excuse me. Vote before I deal with Mr. Hauser. File source N. Accessing camera. Bart Hauser's office. Bart sits away, typing in his system there. That asshole will learn not to piss me off. I agreed to protect the program, not from something else. Bart sits there in the program. Let the hunt begin. File he's copied of the laptop. Type away at the code in script for the port and access. So ends 11 Kingdoms, chapter 11. I thank you all for joining in. I know this has been a little bit of an long video, but we wanted to kind of cover double series here, or double parts here. That investigation getting it started up, with Jamie surviving this meeting. We will be back to this story probably again later this month. Next week we'll do something different, and probably something different on top of that. The week after that as well. Until then, we will be back tomorrow with the start of our playthrough of Persona 5 Royale, in regular Persona. And we'll be doing that playthrough with you all. So that will be tomorrow's stream at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, as always, have a wonderful, and a wonderful good night.